Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we delve into one of the most shocking and pivotal moments in the series of revelation that will forever change the trajectory of our beloved characters' lives. The mystery surrounding Anna's kidnapping has kept viewers on the edge of their seats, but the truth behind her captor's identity is far more sinister than anyone could have anticipated. Through careful investigation and crucial evidence, Anna discovers that her abductor is not who he appears to be, leading to an explosive confrontation that will shake the very foundations of Port Charles. The mystery deepens. Anna's desperate search for answers. Anna Dean has found herself in one of the most terrifying situations of her life. Being held captive by an unknown assailant, she is forced to piece together clues about her captor's identity while fighting for her survival. The uncertainty of not knowing who holds her fate in their hands creates an atmosphere of dread and desperation. Every moment spent in captivity is another moment where Anna must rely on her intelligence, instincts, and whatever fragments of information she can gather to understand the person behind her abduction. The psychological torment of being held against her will weigh heavily on Anna as she attempts to maintain her composure and mental strength. She knows that showing weakness could be dangerous. Yet, she must also appear compliant enough to buy herself time to escape or be rescued. This delicate balance between resistance and survival becomes the central focus of her every waking moment. Anna's years of experience in espionage and dangerous situations provide her with some tools to cope. But even her extensive background cannot fully prepare her for the emotional and physical toll of captivity. The crucial clue. P.K. Sinclair's Mumu KT-10. The turning point in Anna's investigation comes from an unexpected source. A book. The novel Mumuku KT-10 by P.K. Sinclair becomes the key to unlocking the mystery. This particular book holds significance that goes beyond its literary value. It serves as a crucial breadcrumb in the trail leading to her captor's true identity. The presence of this book in Anna's captivity is no accident. It is a deliberate choice by her abductor, perhaps intended as a taunt or a clue left behind. Anna meticulously examines every detail of the book, searching for hidden messages, annotations, or any indication that might reveal something about the person holding her. The title itself, Mumu KT-10, which translates to conspiracy crystallized, takes on a more sinister meaning. As Anna realizes that her situation may be connected to a larger conspiracy, she combs through the pages looking for underlined passages, notes in the margins, or any mark that could provide insight into her captor's thoughts and motivations. As Anna continues her desperate search for answers, the book becomes more than just a physical object. It becomes a window into her captor's mind. The fact that this particular work was chosen to be present during her captivity suggests that the person behind her abduction wants her to understand something, to recognize a pattern, or perhaps to acknowledge a connection she has overlooked. The subtle nature of this clue indicates that her captor enjoys playing psychological games. Confident in their ability to outsmart even someone as seasoned and intelligent as Anna Dean, the horror unfolds, recognizing the pattern. As Anna examines the book more carefully, disturbing patterns begin to emerge. The content, the author's writing style, and the specific passages that seem to hold particular meaning start to form a picture in her mind. Anna's years of training in intelligence work, and her ability to piece together complex information become invaluable tools. She begins to make connections that initially seem impossible. Yet, as each piece falls into place, the horrifying truth becomes increasingly difficult to deny. The realization dawns on Anna gradually at first, then with increasing certainty, the mannerisms of her captor, the way he speaks, certain phrases he uses, and the underlying motivations behind her kidnapping, all of these elements begin to align with a person from her past, someone she thought was long gone, someone whose reign of terror she believed had ended. The sheer audacity of this possibility strikes Anna with overwhelming force. It cannot be true. It should not be possible. Yet, as she pieces together the evidence before her, she cannot deny the mounting probability, the impossible truth. Faison still lives. Anna's worst fears are confirmed when she realizes the unthinkable. Her captor is Faison, the notorious criminal mastermind whom she believed was dead, has somehow survived. Faison, one of the most dangerous and cunning adversaries Anna has ever faced, has been orchestrating this entire scheme. The very man who has been responsible for so much pain and suffering in Port Charles has returned from the dead to wreak havoc once more. Faison's reputation as a criminal genius and manipulator is well earned. His ability to orchestrate complex plans, to manipulate those around him, and to always seem several steps ahead of his enemies makes him a formidable opponent. The fact that he has managed to survive what everyone believed was his demise is a testament to his resourcefulness and intelligence. Anna now understands that she is not facing an ordinary criminal, but rather one of the most dangerous men she has ever encountered. The disguise Sidwell as a cover. The revelation becomes even more horrifying when Anna realizes that Faison has been masquerading as Sidwell. The use of this alias is not arbitrary. It is a calculated strategy to blend into Port Charles society while maintaining his anonymity and continuing his criminal operations. Faison has used plastic surgery, voice modulation, or some combination of deceptive techniques to transform his appearance and fool everyone around him, including those closest to him. Sidwell's existence in Port Charles has been carefully constructed. This alternate identity has allowed Faison to operate in plain sight, conducting his nefarious activities without drawing the suspicion that would immediately fall upon him if his true identity were known. The people of Port Charles have interactions with this false persona, never suspecting that behind the carefully maintained facade lurks one of the most wanted criminals in the world. Faison's ability to compartmentalize and maintain this elaborate disguise demonstrates the extent of his planning and his commitment to his revenge against Anna and others who have opposed him. The choice of the name Sidwell itself may hold significance. It could be a reference to past events, an homage to someone from Faison's past, or simply a name chosen for its anonymity. Whatever the reason, it has served its purpose perfectly, allowing Faison to establish himself in the community while maintaining his true identity as a carefully guarded secret. Anna's horror and realization. The moment when Anna fully comprehends the truth is devastating. All the pieces of the puzzle finally align and she is forced to acknowledge what her mind has been struggling to accept. The man holding her captive, the voice she hears through the darkness of her prison, the footsteps approaching her door. All of these belong to Faison. A man she has fought, struggled against, and tried to stop countless times before. A man whose very name strikes fear into the hearts of those who know what he is capable of. Anna's years of experience, her intelligence, and her resilience are all tested in this moment. She must come to terms not only with her current predicament but also with the realization that Faison has somehow beaten the odds and returned to threaten her life once more. The emotional weight of this discovery is immense. It raises countless questions. How did Faison survive? What is his plan? Why has he waited until now to reveal himself? What does he want from Anna? The implications for Port Charles. The revelation that Faison is alive and operating in Port Charles has massive implications for the entire community. If Faison has managed to infiltrate Port Charles disguised as Sidwell, then who knows what other threats may be lurking beneath carefully maintained facades. The sense of security that the residents of Port Charles once felt is shattered. If someone as dangerous as Faison could walk among them undetected, what does that say about the security and safety of their town? This revelation threatens to unravel multiple storylines and relationships. Anyone who has had contact with Sidwell must now question those interactions and wonder what Faison's true intentions were. The web of lies, deception, and manipulation is far more extensive than anyone realized. Friends may turn out to be enemies. Business dealings may have been part of an elaborate scheme. Relationships may have been forged for nefarious purposes. The broader criminal network. Faison's return also suggests the existence of a larger criminal network that has managed to keep him hidden and protected for all these years. The resources required to create a false identity, undergo significant physical transformation, and establish a life in Port Charles while remaining undetected point to an organization with considerable power and reach. This raises questions about who else might be involved in this conspiracy and whether Faison's return is part of a larger coordinated effort to destabilize Port Charles. The presence of the P.K. Sinclair book in Anna's captivity suggests that Faison may not be operating entirely alone. He may have allies, associates, or members of his organization who are helping him orchestrate this comeback. The psychological games that Faison is playing with Anna, leaving clues, taunting her with books and references, suggest that he is confident in his position and perhaps even enjoys the mental warfare aspect of this revenge. Anna's fight for survival and justice. As Anna comes to grips with the horrifying truth of her situation, her focus must shift from trying to identify her captor to determining how she will survive and bring him to justice. Anna knows that Faison will not let her go easily. He has gone to extraordinary lengths to orchestrate her kidnapping and has proven that he is willing to continue his pursuit of his goals regardless of the obstacles placed in his way. Anna's knowledge of Faison's methods and psychology becomes both an advantage and a challenge. She understands how his mind works, the kinds of games he plays, and the lengths he will go to achieve his objectives. However, this knowledge also makes her acutely aware of just how dangerous her situation truly is. Faison is not a man who forgives or forgets. He is not a man who hesitates or shows mercy. He is a calculated predator who has already proven his willingness to kill and destroy to achieve his goals. The path forward, the unmasking of Sidwell as Faison, marks a turning point in the storyline. What comes next will determine the fate of not only Anna, but potentially many residents of Port Charles. The coming episodes will likely show Anna attempting to escape, seeking help from allies, or finding a way to turn the tables on her captor. The battle of wits between Anna and Faison, two highly intelligent and dangerous adversaries, will undoubtedly provide compelling television as the cat-and-mouse game escalates. The revelation also opens the door for exploration of Faison's motivations. Why now? Why Anna? What is his endgame? These questions will drive the narrative forward and keep viewers invested in the outcome. Whether Faison is seeking revenge, attempting to complete some unfinished criminal business, or working toward a larger goal remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. The revelation that Sidwell is actually Faison disguise has fundamentally changed the landscape of Port Charles and set the stage for an explosive confrontation that will have lasting consequences for everyone involved. This article provides an in-depth exploration of the major plot points you've outlined, focusing on the mystery surrounding Anna's kidnapping, the crucial clue from the P.K. Sinclair book, and the shocking revelation that her captor is Faison disguised as Sidwell. All presented in an extended format suitable for a general hospital spoilers discussion. Next, we will learn about the explosive developments surrounding Carly's dangerous game with WSB agent Jack Brennan and the high-stakes maneuver that could either save her daughter or destroy everything she's worked to protect. The gift that started everything. The holiday season in Port Charles has taken an unexpected turn for Carly, who finds herself navigating treacherous waters with the enigmatic and calculating Jack Brennan. When Jack presented Carly with an early Christmas gift, the gesture seemed innocent enough on the surface, wrapped in the pretense of seasonal goodwill and neighborly kindness. However, both Carly and her unlikely ally know better than to take anything at face value when dealing with a WSB operative of Jack's caliber and reputation. The glittering bauble he bestowed upon her came with unspoken expectations. And in the world of espionage and intelligence gathering, every gift carries an implicit debt that must be repaid. The weight of reciprocation now hangs heavy on Carly's shoulders. She understands the delicate balance she must maintain if she fails to return the gesture with an appropriately thoughtful present. Jack's suspicions will be immediately aroused. A man of his training and experience doesn't miss subtle shifts in behavior or protocol. And Carly cannot afford to have him questioning her motives or scrutinizing her actions more closely than he already does. The stakes are far too high, with her daughter Jocelyn's safety hanging in the balance and the potential exposure of her secret house guest threatening to unravel everything and unexpected a lie in the attic. What makes this situation particularly complex is the presence of Valentine Casadini, who remains concealed in Carly's attic, watching the drama unfold from his hidden vantage point. Valentine witnessed the entire exchange when Jack delivered his Christmas offering, and his trained eye immediately recognized the potential threat. His experience with intelligence, operations, and surveillance technology made him inherently suspicious of any unsolicited gift from a WSB agent. The possibility that the bubble contains sophisticated listening devices or tracking technology was not just plausible, but highly probable in Valentine's assessment. Valentine's paranoia, honed through years of working within shadowy organizations, proved invaluable in this moment. He voiced his concerns to Carly, pointing out that Jack could easily be using the gift as a Trojan horse to infiltrate her private space and gather intelligence on her activities. After all, what better way for a spy to maintain surveillance than through an innocuous decorative item that the target would naturally keep in their home? The thought sent chills down Carly's spine as she realized how vulnerable she had become, how easily she could have been compromised without even realizing it, forming a counter-strategy. It was Valentine who first proposed the audacious counter-move that would form the backbone of their plan. Drawing from his extensive knowledge of intelligence gathering and counter-espionage tactics, he suggested that Carly turn the tables on Jack by giving him a gift of her own, one that would allow them to monitor his activities and communications. The brilliance of the plan lay in its simplicity and the element of symmetry it provided. Jack would never suspect that Carly, whom he likely underestimated as just another civilian, would possess the capability or audacity to conduct surveillance on a trained WSB operative. However, implementing such a sophisticated operation required expertise that neither Carly nor Valentine currently possessed in their restricted circumstances. They needed someone with deep technical knowledge, access to specialized equipment, and most importantly, someone they could trust implicitly. That person was Damian Spinelli, the tech genius who had helped countless Port Charles residents navigate digital challenges and security concerns over the years. Spinelli's unique combination of hacking skills, access to underground technology markets, and fierce loyalty to his friends made him the perfect candidate for this delicate mission. Keeping secrets within secrets. The operational security surrounding this plan required careful compartmentalization of information. Spinelli could not be brought into the full picture regarding Valentine's presence in Carol's attic. The fewer people who knew about the fugitive Casadini hiding mere feet above their heads, the better. Carly had already taken enormous risks when she visited Valentine at Steinhoff prison, requiring Spinelli's technical assistance to ensure her communications remained secure. But even then, she hadn't revealed the true nature or ultimate purpose of her mission. Now, as they prepared to execute this latest gambit, Carly had to walk a tightrope of trust and deception. She needed Spinelli's help desperately, but she couldn't tell him everything. The layers of secrecy grew more complex with each passing day, and Carly found herself wondering how long she could maintain this elaborate house of cards before something inevitably caused it all to collapse. Every conversation required careful calibration. Every request had to be framed in just the right way to avoid arousing suspicion while still securing the assistance she needed. Valentine's invaluable expertise. Valentine's history with the World Security Bureau proved to be the secret weapon in crafting their surveillance strategy. His intimate familiarity with WSB protocols, technology standards, and security measures provided crucial insights that an outsider could never possess. He knew exactly what kind of devices could slip past their detection systems, which frequencies they monitored, and what types of surveillance equipment they routinely scanned for during security sweeps. This insider knowledge transformed what could have been a clumsy, easily detected attempt into a sophisticated operation with a genuine chance of success. As Valentine explained to Carly, the key was creating something that appeared completely innocent while harboring its true purpose beneath layers of misdirection and technical obfuscation. The device needed to pass through standard explosive detection scans without triggering any alarms. A relatively straightforward requirement in today's world of miniaturized electronics. But the real challenge lay in making it invisible to the sophisticated bug detection equipment that Jack would certainly use to sweep any gift before accepting it into his daily routine. WB agents were trained to be paranoid, and that paranoia had kept many of them alive when others had fallen. The perfect cover, a smartwatch. After careful consideration of various options, they settled on what seemed like the ideal solution: a high-end smartwatch. The genius of this choice lay in its perfect blend of plausibility and functionality. In an era where wearable technology has become ubiquitous, a luxury smartwatch represents exactly the kind of prestigious, practical gift that someone might give to a professional acquaintance or potential romantic interest. It would seem thoughtful without being overly intimate, expensive enough to show genuine appreciation, yet not so extravagant as to raise questions about ulterior motives. More importantly, a smartwatch offered unparalleled surveillance opportunities. Unlike a stationary bug that could only monitor conversations in a specific location, a watch travels everywhere with its wearer. Whether Jack was at WSB headquarters conducting official business, meeting with contacts in shadowy Port Charles locations, or relaxing in his private residence, the watch would be there faithfully recording and transmitting every word, every conversation, every phone call. It was the surveillance equivalent of having an agent embedded directly into the target's life. Except this agent would never sleep, never take breaks, and never face moral qualms about betraying confidences. Spinelli's technical wizardry. When Carly approached Spinelli with her request, she had to frame it carefully. She revealed just enough truth to secure his cooperation while maintaining the critical secrets that could endanger everyone involved. She told him about Jocelyn being manipulated into joining the WASB, about her maternal fears regarding the dangerous assignments Jack was giving her daughter, and about her determination to protect Jocelyn from this organization that viewed young operatives as expendable assets. This partial truth resonated deeply with Spinelli, who immediately understood Carly's desperation from his own perspective as a father. Spinelli's protective instincts toward his own daughter, Georgie, kicked into high gear as he listened to Carly's concerns. He could easily imagine himself in her position, facing the nightmare scenario of watching his child being pushed into life-threatening situations by shadowy government handlers who cared nothing for the individual lives at stake. The parallel was too clear, too visceral to ignore. Without hesitation, he pledged his complete support and discretion, swearing an oath of silence about the entire operation and Jocelyn's unwilling recruitment into the intelligence community. Drawing on his extensive network of contacts in the underground technology sector, Spinelli knew exactly where to source the components they needed. Through encrypted communications and carefully arranged dead drops, he obtained a smartwatch that had been modified by specialists who catered to the gray market where corporate espionage and private intelligence gathering intersected. The device maintained all the external appearance and functionality of a legitimate luxury timepiece while housing sophisticated surveillance equipment that could capture audio, track locations, and even access nearby networks and devices when opportunities arose. Executing the exchange, the moment came when Carly presented Jack with his carefully prepared Christmas gift. She wrapped it beautifully, added a card with an appropriately warm yet not overly familiar message, and delivered it with just the right mixture of gratitude and casual friendliness. Her performance had to be perfect, too eager, and he might suspect manipulation too distant, and he might question whether she actually valued their relationship enough to bother with reciprocation. It was a delicate dance, and Carly drew on her years of navigating Port Charles society politics to strike exactly the right tone. Jack accepted the gift with what appeared to be genuine pleasure, examining the expensive smartwatch with appreciation. His ego, that fundamental weakness that Valentine had correctly identified, prevented him from considering that Carly might possess the intelligence, resources, or audacity to conduct surveillance on him. Like so many men before him, he underestimated her, seeing only a concerned mother rather than the strategic thinker and survivor who had weathered countless storms in Port Charles over the years. This blind spot, this failure to recognize Carly's true capabilities represented exactly the opening they needed for their plan to succeed. The waiting game begins. Now the real work begins as Valentine remains sequestered in Carly's attic, manning the monitoring equipment that receives and processes the data streaming from Jack's new smartwatch. Every conversation Jack has, every meeting he attends, every phone call he makes is now potentially being recorded and analyzed. Valentine listens intently, searching for the evidence they need, proof of Jack engaging in activities that violate WSB protocols, evidence of him exceeding his authority, or confirmation that he's putting Jocelyn in unnecessary danger for his own agenda. Valentine understands better than most what they're looking for. While the WASB certainly requires its agents to operate in moral gray areas and sometimes do questionable things in service of larger missions, There are still rules, still boundaries that even intelligence operatives cannot cross. More importantly, Valentine knows which specific WSB superiors would care about various types of violations. His knowledge of the current WASB power structure, including which agents remain loyal to his late father, Victor's corrupt influence versus those trying to restore integrity to the organization, will be crucial in determining how and to whom they should present their evidence when the time comes. The ultimate goal, Carly's endgame, remains crystal clear despite all the complexity and danger surrounding her current situation. Protect Jocelyn at all costs while bringing Jack Brennan to justice for manipulating her daughter into this dangerous world. She wants evidence solid enough to present to Jack's superiors, proof that will force the WSB to recall him, reassign him, or at the very least pull Jocelyn out of the field operations that threaten her life daily. The smartwatch represents more than just a surveillance device. It's a mother's desperate gambit to save her child from a system that views young operatives as disposable tools rather than precious lives with futures that should be protected. As Christmas approaches and the smartwatch continues its silent vigil on Jack's wrist, the tension in Carly's household grows. Every day brings new intelligence, new pieces of the puzzle that Valentine carefully catalogs and analyzes. The risks are enormous. If Jack discovers the surveillance, the consequences could be devastating for everyone involved. But doing nothing, allowing Jocelyn to remain under Jack's control without any oversight or protection, is simply not an option that Carly can accept. She has built her life on the principle of protecting her children above all else. And this situation will be no exception. No matter how dangerous the game becomes or how high the stakes rise in the coming days,